Once upon a time, in the golden sands of ancient Egypt, there lived a young scribe by the name of Khem. Khem was a seeker of knowledge, spending his days poring over ancient texts and his nights gazing at the stars. One day, while exploring the ruins of a collapsed temple near the Nile, he discovered a mysterious scroll hidden beneath some fallen stones. The scroll, written in hieroglyphics, told the tale of a long-forgotten pharaoh who ruled for only 7 days before vanishing into legend. His name was Pharaoh Nefereku, and according to the scroll, he had hidden something of great power and peril, an artifact known as the Eye of Ma'at, which was said to grant its possessor the wisdom of the gods and control over life and death itself. But it came with a terrible curse. He who seeks the eye must walk the path of judgment, where only truth shall light the way. Intrigued and perhaps a little too eager to prove himself, Khem decided to find the Eye of Ma'at. The scroll hinted that the artifact lay hidden in a secret tomb, somewhere in the vast desert that surrounded his village. So without telling anyone where he was going, Khem set off across the scorching sands, accompanied only by his trusty staff and the relentless sun beating down on his back. His journey was fraught with danger. There were sandstorms that threatened to bury him alive, deadly scorpions that sought to sting him, and hidden traps in the ancient pyramids that tested his patience and determination. At one point, he came across a pyramid that seemed to shimmer in the heat haze, its entrance guarded by 2 towering stone statues of Anubis, the god of the dead. To enter, he had to solve their riddle. What has cities but no houses, rivers but no water, forests but no trees? They boomed in unison. Khem pondered their words. He looked around him at the maze of corridors and chambers that lay before him. Then he whispered the answer, a map. The stone figures seemed to come to life, their glowing eyes boring into his. But when they heard his answer, they stepped aside, allowing him to pass. Inside, the tomb was filled with booby traps and puzzles that tested Khem's wit and courage. But finally, after what felt like hours, though may have only been minutes, he reached the heart of the pyramid. There he found the spirit of Pharaoh Nefereku, who explained the truth about the Eye of Ma'at. It was not a jewel or a relic, but a test of character. Those who sought ultimate power, he said, would be granted it, but at what cost? For the eye demanded balance. It required the holder to be both wise and compassionate, just as the world itself needed balance. If the holder became consumed by their own power, the eye would corrupt them, turning them into a tyrant who sought only to dominate and destroy. Neferek told Khem that he had failed this test, which is why his spirit was trapped here, doomed to wander the halls of this tomb forever. Khem realized that he too would be tested. He had the choice, Pharaoh said, to either take the eye's power for himself and become the most powerful ruler in Egypt, or he could destroy it, ensuring that the balance of the world would remain undisturbed. It was a difficult choice, one that Khem knew would change his life forever. But in the end, he chose to destroy the Eye of Ma'at. As Khem placed the artifact into a nearby pit of sacred fire, the tomb began to shake and rumble. It was clear that the eye did not want to be destroyed. It fought against him, trying to tempt him with promises of power and control. But Khem remained steadfast. He had come too far to be swayed by empty promises now. Just as the tomb was about to collapse and bury him alive, a sudden burst of light erupted from the pit of fire. This light enveloped Khem, lifting him gently from the crumbling chamber and placing him safely back at the edge of the Nile. When he awoke, he found the scroll was gone, but in its place was a strange mark on his palm, the mark of Ma'at, signifying that he had passed the test. Khem returned to his village, not with treasure or power, but with wisdom. And so the legend of Khem, the humble scribe who chose wisdom over power, was whispered for generations to come.